So when I named this webinar 30 days to 100K, I was absolutely serious about helping you get there.
LCA. I have the pleasure of hosting today, and we've got the great Dan Stewart here to talk about LCA Nurture. Great product. I've been actually really excited to host. Wanted to host last month, Dan. So welcome, Dan. What do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about like a really important thing. Okay, this is going to be a fun topic because how's this sound? 100K in 30 days. Are you down for that?
I am. Yeah.
30K or 100K in 30 days is not a bad plan for sure. Now, first of all, I want to start out by saying wherever you are logging in from, welcome. I'm super glad you're here. I'm going to have my eyeballs peeled on the chat the whole entire time. The purpose of all of these sessions is to have a conversation. So if you're stuck, if there's something that's not making sense, just, call it out in the chat. Let's have that conversation. So I'll be watching the chat here inside Zoom, and Felix will be watching the chat on Facebook. It's hard for all our eyes to be everywhere at the same time. And we have a ton to cover. So let's get started by making sure that you guys can see us and hear us. Go ahead and say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Always love that pause here. This is how you know this is a live session and not recorded, right? On the recorded sessions, you get people, oh, right away. But here it comes. Here we go. All right. So I got a whole ton of people to say hi to. Let's see. We got Westlake Village and Palm Springs and Tampa. Veronica, I'm in Tampa. Like, you could be here at my farm. That would be awesome. We got Indiana and Iowa and Vancouver and Toronto, DC. We got Michigan, Texas. So we're all over the US, all across North America, really, it looks like. So that's fantastic. Now, I'm going to guess that of all the people who are attending here today, you all kind of have a sense that there's opportunity out there you're not tapping into, right? And I kind of sense that because this is what life is today. There's so many people thumping their chests on social media about how great they are and how much they've closed and what a wonderful life they're leading. And it can leave a lot of us feeling like somehow we're less than, like somehow we're just not good enough or we don't measure up. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not the case, that every single thing you want to achieve in life is possible through the relationships that you build along the way. If only you had the right pieces and parts to put those together. So when I named this webinar 30 days to 100K, I was absolutely serious about helping you get there. So go ahead and give me an all caps yes in the chat if you're down to earn a minimum of 100K in real estate this year. Bam, 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 every single person, right? Now, I'm hoping that some of you are like 100K. Dan, please. That's what I make in like a month. Okay. So if that's you, if you're one of those 1.2 million GCI people, awesome. You're in the right place. And if you're that brand new agent who's really like 100K, oh my God, I can't even imagine having that much income, you're also in the right place. The really beautiful thing about what I'm teaching today is that it applies to everyone, no matter where you are on your real estate journey. So if you're a buyer's agent, this is for you. If you're a listing agent, this is for you. If you're a brand new member of a team, if you own a team, if you're a broker owner or you're a national leader of a franchise organization, there's content today here that's going to help you. So that's just about as much preamble as I'm going to give. It's time for us to dive in and cover the good stuff. So as I share my screen here, I'm going to ask you just one last question. A percent. No, let's do this. Let's say on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being the worst, like hot mess, and 10 being absolute perfection, how organized is your database. Okay, 0 to 10. Give me that answer in the chat, and I'll share my screen here as we get dived in. I see a 2 there from Gregory. I see some good numbers coming in here. That's awesome. So again, wherever you are, oh, it's Stacy Roby's here. Hi, Stacy. I love that you're here. This is awesome. And I am just going to share my screen. You should be seeing my screen now. And in just a moment, you should be seeing my slide deck. So if you guys can give me a thumbs up or something, let me know that you can see that slide. And notice how beautiful Felix looks with a wig on. It's just amazing. That's a great pick, Felix.
Thank you.
And Janky can't be here today. We're all super busy. She had a schedule change. And I just want to thank you, Felix, for filling in here at the last minute. It means a lot that you can do that. So,
yeah, of course, of course. Excited to hear the information.
So let's start where we are. Database nurturing. Like, you either love this or you absolutely hate it. Like, it's that thing your dentist asks you to do between appointments that we all lie to him about, right? Are we flossing every day? Probably not. Are you really paying attention to your database at the level you should be? Almost certainly not, right? And I get it, because even though I'm not the only person in real estate who's shining a light on just how important the database is, y'all have a lot going on, right? I mean, this market is pretty crazy. No matter where you are, there's almost never been a market with this sustained level of low inventory for so long. Competition for every client and every transaction is fierce. It totally and completely is. That is a reality we have to embrace. And we also have to embrace that everybody has to live somewhere. So no matter what happens in the market, there's always opportunity. And what I'll be teaching you today is the truth of that and how you can tap into it. Along the way, I'm going to ask you to think of some things in a new perspective. And I get that that might be challenging for some of you. So, here's my contact information. You can reach out to me personally. Go to danstewart.com or just scan that QR code, and you can save my personal contact information on your phone. You can reach out to me. I'm a real dude who would really like to help you. So high level, my life's work is this little company called Happy Grasshopper. I started it 12 years ago, and it's an extension of everything I've learned as a serial entrepreneur and everything I've learned as a survivor of a pretty rough childhood. So, let's just set everything down here for a moment and say we're all people. We all have our ups and downs in life. Wherever you are, that's okay. If you have a vision of where you'd like to get to, I'm proof positive that you can get there. And I know for certain that I get to be here with you today because of all those countless people who poured into me, who had conversations with me, sometimes really hard conversations that got my life moving in the right direction. So at my company, we exist to start the conversations that allow people to achieve their goals, whether that's for growing an organization, for generating more business with your past clients, or for converting more of the leads that you generate. So that's the context, that's the data set that's allowed me to teach you what I'm teaching today. We're nurturing a huge database, and I'm just going to share everything that we've learned along the way. Now, my life story has taught me that anything and everything we want is possible through relationships. So, think about that. Like, I had parents who said, it doesn't matter what you know, it's who you know. And to me, that felt really defeating as a kid. It meant that, other people who had better relationships would have an advantage. And then I realized, well, hang on a minute. Like, I love people. I love building relationships and making friends. I have that advantage too. Like, let me really start paying attention to the relationships that I have and watch everything change. Now, another core belief is that our relationships live inside conversation. So, if you're married, if you're in love, think about it. The place that happened was in conversation. If you're raising children, the place you do that is inside conversation. And, that's just how important conversation is. I promise you, the war in Ukraine is going to end inside conversation. We don't know when, but it's going to happen when a group of people sit down and say, you know what, we don't want this anymore. Let's agree on the terms of something else that we can both live with. Conversation is critical for your success as a real estate professional. It's not only where you win your clients, right? It's where you solve all the problems on the way to that closing table. And, far too many of you, I think, accept a reality of real estate that looks like this. You know what I'm talking about? Have you heard this? Oh, real estate, it's all peaks and valleys. It's ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. Like, if your business feels like a roller coaster, can you give me a yes in the chat, please? I want to see that coming in. All right, Rob Novak, points to you. Very first yes. Nicole, Dawn, Ernest, Sophia, ding, 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 ding. All these yes flying in. Well, let this moment be a line in the sand for you. Let's just draw it and say, you know what a roller coaster really is? It's a systematic experience. Think about that. You can't go to Disneyland and get on a roller coaster that's not a highly engineered, systematic experience. Every curve, every bend, every turn, every rise in the track, and every drop, it's highly engineered. It's on purpose. And if you think of your business as a highly engineered systematic experience, it needs to have these three parts. You must get leads, period. Whether they come from relationships, people referring people to you, whether you're generating them from your own activities like door knocking and prospecting and whatever digital or online advertising you're doing, or whether you're buying leads from a portal, you must get leads. You have to have them. You must close sales and you must wow your clients, right? That's it. My business, your business, any business you can imagine all has these same three obligations in their systematic experience. So here's the aha moment. Their experience, the experience your clients have, that equals your income. Your gross commission income is a direct experience of what they're seeing as they work with you, right? If you have those clients who absolutely love you, they're going to refuse to let their friends and family work with anyone else. How long have you been in real estate, Felix?
This is my 19th year in business.
Your 19th year. Okay. So I have a belief that every year you're in business, it should get easier and easier and easier to earn a living because you've got that ever growing pool of people that you served. And, one of my favorite questions to ask people, particularly when I'm at a live event, like I just spoke in Las Vegas last week, I love to ask the audience to raise their hand for me if most of their business comes through referral and relationship. And no matter what the conference, it's always 80% plus of the room that raises their hands. That should tell you something. Now, second line in the sand experience here. Like if you agree with me that your business should be a highly systematic experience, you're probably asking yourself, well, what's the best experience? Who's doing it right that I can just copy that and do that? And I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to say, you know what? It's not your job to try to change everything you do to give that one person an ideal experience. Your job is to deliver an experience you're really proud of that feels great to you. And then you have to let the market decide whether or not they enjoy that experience. Okay. Like you can get on my ride and love it. You can think Happy Grasshopper is the best thing since sliced bread, or you can look at us and say, you're weird. I don't get the value of conversation. I'm going to do something else. Totally fine. I know that I'm really proud of the experience that we deliver. So that's all that I have to focus on, right? So let's go a little deeper here. Let's look at some of these systematic experiences, all these curves in the track that can exist within your business. So a lot of you are familiar with the concept of a sales funnel. That's where, you've got this funnel shaped object, you pour leads in the top, and eventually you get sales that come out in the bottom. And, what I've done here is we've turned this funnel on its side, and then we have another funnel on the other end. So there's a term for this. This is called a bow tie funnel. And if you think about it having two sides, like we've got this side on the left and this side on the right, this is where nearly everybody is focused, right? Think about everything you do to generate leads. All these companies that are selling you leads and leads and leads. It's so easy for us to be so focused on the value of generating business now that we forget just how valuable the resource is for all those people we've served in the past. Okay. So thankfully, our friends at NAR have done some math for us that's actually really useful for this. So that left side of the funnel, that's worth on average $6,000 per transaction. Okay, so think about it. If you're generating 100 leads, and of those leads you get 2 to close, well, you've earned $12,000 in commission against however much you spent on 100 leads, right? Well, what's the value of those 2 that closed over time? If you've delivered that wow experience for them, if they really feel like they would be wrong to let their friends and family work with anyone else, then you get something called a lifetime value. And the average lifetime value of a transaction, like that party that you served in a transaction, is $117,000. So think about that. The fastest way to get you to 100K is to help you understand that whoever it is that you already know is much more likely to be a great source of business for you than someone you haven't met yet, right? We can often do so much more business much more quickly just by working with those people we know. The challenge, of course, is, well, how do we do all this? How do we fit all these things together? So I'm going to lead you through a process you can rely on to help you get this done. And we're going to start by establishing a goal. So, earlier in the session, I asked you guys, who wants 100K or maybe 1.2 million? And you called out some numbers for me. I saw 500,000 in there came in from someone. So right now, think of your GCI goal. Whatever that gross commission income goal for the year is, let's go ahead and write it down. Get that number on paper, right? And then you look at well, what do I do to achieve that number? I need sales. Where do sales come from? Well, they come from opportunities. You have only 2 kinds of opportunity. You have that referral that comes through relationships, right? Or you have that lead that you buy where there isn't a pre-existing relationship. Referral leads are much closer to being ready to transact than an internet lead is. Online registration often starts 12 to 18 months, not before the transaction, but before they're ready to talk to you about the transaction. So online lead gen is great if you know the math. Most of your competitors won't follow up with someone for 12 to 18 months to have a conversation about helping in real estate. Those that do are pretty much doing it only with the same content everyone else is sending. Save search updates, price change alerts. You've got to stand out from that. And the best way to stand out is by leaning on relationships, right? So relationships, as we've discussed, live inside conversations, and conversations start when you ask questions. So let's just recognize that we've taken any goal, no matter how high you set it. This is the staircase that you climb to achieve it. That's how it works. And I'll tell you that for the past 12 years now, we've been tracking all of this data, every single place, all along every step of the way. And when we boil all this math down into these individual ratios, like how many questions to have how many conversations, to have how many transactions to earn what GCI, what we come up with is a magic ratio we call the relationship ratio. This says that for every 100 relationships you nurture, you're going to find an average of 12 transactions per year. Okay. So think about that. Do you have 100 people in your database that absolutely know who you are, that would like say hello if they bumped into you at the grocery store? Those are the people we're talking about. Felix, do you have an idea just offhand how many people are in your database?
460.
460. Okay, so we barely know each other at this point, but I'm going to guess that most of those people are past clients in Sphere. They're in there because it's a relationship. So, some people who are listening to this, if we ask how many are in their database, they're going to say things like, oh, thousands, 2, 3, 5, 10, 25,000. I have some clients that have 150,000 people in their database. Well, that doesn't mean they have 150,000 relationships. So I'm going to encourage you to think of a relationship as being that person who goes, hey, I know you. Like, they don't have to know your story. They might not even know your name. But if they go, oh, yeah, where have I seen you before? You've got enough there to build a relationship with them, right? If you start conversations with that person regularly, you're going to build a great relationship that will lead to them referring you business. And again, for every 100 of those that you have, you can count on a minimum of 12 transactions per year. Now, the challenge, if there is one, is just figuring out, what do I say to these people? How do I start conversations with them? What do I actually say? And when do I actually say it? And how often do I keep saying it? Well, I believe that all those answers are available through data. I had a mentor early in my career, and he taught me that if you have good data, you can make good decisions. Now, Billy, he was this real simple farmer-like guy from South Carolina who went on to be CEO of the world's largest sterile glove manufacturer. And he said over and over, Dan, if you've got good data, you can make good decisions. So I decided that since our most important thing that we do at Happy Grasshopper is write and deliver messaging that causes conversations to happen, that was actually our queen bee role. Like, if you think about the queen bee in the beehive, she's got the most important job. The whole hive exists to serve her. Like, if she dies, the hive dies. So at Happy Grasshopper, we know delivering messaging that works for you is the most important thing we can do. So we've run hundreds and hundreds of tests and studies here about what works and what doesn't work. So let me ask you guys in the audience, which works better? Which gets the higher open rate? Is it using an emoji or no emoji? So tell me, emoji or no emoji in the subject line right now. I want to see your answer. Jacqueline's first up, emoji. Ernest just gives me an emoji. Okay, so far all the answers are 100% emoji. Oh, here we go. Maggie says no. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of emojis here. So I assumed that when, remember a few years ago, it's like everybody starts using emojis. I thought, ooh, we're going to include these in the subject line. We're going to see an immediate rise in the open rate. And what the data says is that it's actually neutral. It doesn't make a measurable difference in open rate. What makes the biggest difference for you is using a question mark, a question mark of all things. So if you want to get a higher open rate with your emails, find ways to ask questions in the subject line. Keep in mind, when we're checking our inboxes today, we're really all trying to pay attention to what matters. What do I need to engage with? And a question is going to engage our minds. So question marks mean higher open rates. Now, let's do another study here. HTML versus text-based email. Which works better? Call it out for me in the chat. HTML or text? Okay, and not text messaging, text-based email. One looks like a nice, pretty art project, and one looks like somebody just sat down to write something. So which do you think works better? I love it. Alexis says no idea. Sophia says HTML. Greg says text. Yeah, again, like if you've got good data, you can make good decisions. And, when you've got MailChimp and Constant Contact for decades now, teaching us that we need to send email like the one on the left, kind of makes sense that feels like what we should do. And yet we all have this filter in our brains today. When we're checking our inboxes, if it looks like marketing, it's safe to ignore. So text-based email way outperforms HTML email. And that message that I showed you, I noticed your EXP hat, Felix. We wrote that message for Mitch Riback. He's with EXP in Florida. Look at his open rate, 46%. And we sent that message to 147 strangers, and he has a 46% open rate, like highly, highly effective. So Veronica, I love the all caps there. You are absolutely right. Writing the text message makes the biggest difference there. Text-based email way outperforms HTML-based email. Now, when it comes to a full-fledged approach here, we can't have just email. As strong as email is, it's not enough, right? So in LCA Nurture, we've designed a sequence for you that consists of 3 types of automated send. The first is a non-salesy email. It's not talking about real estate. It's not mentioning your open houses. It's not selling listings. It's simply showing people, proving to them that you care enough about them to start conversations, right? The second type of message we send is a text message, right? So a moment ago, I talked about text-based email. This is an actual text message like you do on your phone. So a text that comes out at the right time to the right people feels so natural and makes sense. And a text to the wrong people at the wrong time feels really irritating. You've probably all received that text from someone you don't know that says something ridiculous, right? It's usually got a short code and it's opt in here for XY. You're like, no, God, how are you on my phone now? It's bad enough you're in my inbox. I don't want you on my phone. It's so irritating. So we're going to show you how not to be that kind of person. And then we need to supplement that text with a ringless voicemail drop. So Felix, let's imagine your birthday is 7 days from today and you're my past client, right? So a week from today, you have a birthday. Today, you get a text from me that says, hey, Felix, it's Dan Stewart. Am I the first to wish you a happy birthday this year? Right? And since you know who I am, you reply, we have a nice little engagement there. So I beat the rush on Facebook by a week. I stand out in your mind. We actually got to connect. It feels really, really good. And then on your birthday, your phone doesn't ring, but you look down and you see you missed my phone call. And there's my voice. Hey, it's me, Dan. Just wanted to reach out on your birthday and tell you I was thinking about you. Hope you're having a great day. Happy birthday. Make it fun. Blah, 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 right? Sign off, done. So my voice, my personality in your voicemail box without me having to do anything once I've recorded that message. So these sequences, these 41 touches consist of birthdays, holidays, transaction anniversaries, and then once per quarter, we send a lead harvesting message. And that's where you get people in your database standing up and saying, hey, Felix, this guy, you got to work with him. And every time we send one of those messages, you're going to find transaction opportunities. So all of that content can be made even better. Like if 12 transactions isn't enough and you want more, you can get more by taking our content, posting it on social media, and also by sending handwritten cards. Now, all of that is built into LCA Nurture. That's a special project that I collaborated with Tristan and Nick for. It's where we took all of what we've learned in 12 years of serving people at Happy Grasshopper and boiled it down into exactly what you need for just your past clients and sphere. Now, if you think about the value, of 12 transactions, in an average GCI, you'd think we'd charge thousands and thousands of dollars for this. But that's not the commitment for me at Happy Grasshopper, and it's certainly not the commitment from Nick and Tristan. So our service is priced at $47 to start and $470 for the year. And that includes all of those 41 touches. And I'm putting a link here in the chat. Jake actually just popped it in there. He stole my thunder just a little bit. Thank you, Jake. You guys will notice there's a flash sale that's just happening now. So a couple of times a year when you don't know when it's going to happen, we decide, you know what, let's help more people. And so we've taken that pricing and we've cut it in half. So all you have to do to get started is go to happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture. And what's going to happen when you do that is you're going to get login credentials that will take you inside your account. And I'm going to jump around here a little bit. Felix, can you confirm you're seeing me logged into LCA Nurture right now?
Yes, I see you.
Okay, awesome. So when you first log in, our system's going to run a tour that's going to show you where everything is. And then we're going to keep you on schedule throughout the rest of the year. Now, every 2 weeks, my writing team is going to have fresh new emails ready for you, like these here. You're going to go through and you'll read these messages. And like here, you see a Passover Easter message. Here's another Easter message here. These are all topical about things that are happening now. It's normal for you to read some and absolutely love them, read others and maybe not like them so much. There's a variety of writing styles in there. My advice is just to choose the one you like the best, right? If you like it, the people who know you and like you will probably like it. So we'll send those emails for you once every 3 weeks. Your voicemail drop scripts, they're all loaded for you here. And there's bunches of examples here. I'm going to click on this Barry Jenkins script. We call it the Barry Jenkins script because he found 2 transactions in 24 hours using this script. And then he found a third one 11 days later. Barry has recorded a wonderful video for us, and I'm going to just play that for you here real quickly. If you can give me a thumbs up that you can hear this.
The results have been phenomenal while using Happy Grasshopper. We've hired more agents. Our sphere of influence, the margin with which our agents are actually closing deals with them, it's increased by 17% since using that platform, which is a lot. I think it comes down to our agents have been very busy historically, and they're not able to stay in contact with their past clients. So giving them a vehicle to do that in an easy format like Happy Grasshopper has done. Now it's not just a, hey, join our office, we've got this cool technology. It's now that you're here, let's help you reach all these past clients, your sphere of influence. And so they're thrilled because those are the best clients to win, is people that already know, like, and trust you. And so Happy Grasshopper is uniquely poised to do just that. And so honestly, whether you're talking about more sales, agent retention, or agent acquisition with recruiting, it really has touched all facets of our business in a significant way. It's pretty much a no-brainer at this point.
So yeah, I love that Barry recorded that for us. We're so blessed to have this, user base of people all across the US and Canada. And, my role, my life's mission is to make the world a friendlier place by connecting people in conversation. So, if you think about that relationship you build with someone as you're going through the peaks and valley of a real estate transaction, it's a real shame to let that go because you're so busy focused on the deal that's in front of you now. So, that's why we're called Happy Grasshopper. Instead of just jumping from transaction to transaction and losing touch with all those people, we help you grow your GCI every single year by building a larger pool of people you have authentic relationships with. Now, a couple of questions that have come in. Felix, I see you answered that. We are a US company, so the pricing there is in US dollars. And I am going to jump around here. Like if you come to just Happy Grasshopper, you'll see we do have a product priced at $47 per month. LCA Nurture today is 50% off that rate, and that ends April 19th at midnight. So if it's later, if you're watching the recorded version of this in syndication and it's before April 19th, it's time for you to go here and jump in. If it's after April 19th, still jump in because it's a whale of a value at $47 per month. You should absolutely still be using it. And finally, if you're already one of our members and you purchased a monthly plan from us and you want to upgrade to this, you can go ahead and do that. Like, go ahead and do it. You can jump in there and take advantage of that. So let me jump back to, okay, I'm on the LCA Nurture page. I'm in the right place. On this page, when you go here, you'll see there's recordings from people who are having great results with what we're doing. There's examples of messages that we've sent and what's come in as a result of those types of messages. There's just a ton of amazing things that come inside your LCA Nurture account. One of them is this bonus opportunity with Revaluate. Do you know about Revaluate, Felix?
I've heard about them, but not. I don't remember what they're about.
They do something super cool. So they take the contacts you load into LCA Nurture, and then they study everything about that, not just the property data, but they find the social media accounts, and they're looking for any kind of content that indicates that person might be moving, right? So, if you think about what really drives moving, it's things like, diamonds, diapers, divorces, and death. They call those the 4 Ds. So if that shows up in social media, those people are identified here on the dashboard of your account. Like, I'm going to jump over to mine real quick, and you'll see I've got a buddy here who's very likely to move within the next 6 months. Now, I don't know which of those issues is going on in his life, and we won't report that to you because I don't want anybody calling and saying things like, oh, I heard somebody died, or, we don't want that. We want to just call and say, hey, it's been a minute since we've connected. Felix, how have you been? What's going on? Right? Let your conversation pull that out. So going a little deeper, we'll identify all the people who have birthdays coming up, make it super easy for you to send that text that we talked about. And of course, all of this can just be set to go out automatically, or we can notify you, and then you can approve the messages to go. So tons and tons of great stuff here in the system. I'm looking at the clock. It looks like we've managed a little time to keep things open for questions. So anyone who has them, please let me know. We'll make sure to get those answered. Otherwise, I want to show you a couple of cool things we haven't talked about. First up will be social media content. My writers create real estate related posts for you that you can copy and post on any social media platform. Now, you'll notice we're not talking about market stats. We're just starting conversations on real estate related topics. And of course, anywhere you see this, we're asking you to choose your own background image on Facebook. Pro tip, when people comment, like their comment, reply to their comment, then continue the conversation for them in the chat, right? Important to do that. So again, every 2 weeks, all fresh content. And as you see, it's relevant to the time we're sharing. Next bonus thing I'll show you will be handwritten cards. Are you a handwritten card guy, Felix? Do you send those?
I do. I think people enjoy them a lot more today than 10 years ago.
I would agree. It used to be we got a flood of direct mail, but digital has kind of replaced that. So when people get something, it can really make an impact. And, one of my core beliefs is that if it looks like marketing, it's safe to ignore. So I really want to treat my past clients at Sphere in a way that they feel special. So in our system, whatever you write here in the message area shows up inside the card. And no matter which font you choose, I'm just going to point out, I'll zoom in here so you can see this. These cards are written by a robot holding a pen. And you'll notice that like here, we don't have any of the E's that match any of the other E's, right? So it really does look authentic. And then you can also have the option of adding a gift card here to any of these cards, right? So cards start at $3.85, and the pricing scales downward with volume. So like for a holiday send, if you're sending hundreds of cards, they're going to go out in a way that looks really great. Now, I'm going to show you a card in an envelope here. I'll stop the screen share real quick. That's what it looks like when it goes out. So first class stamp, handwritten envelope, right? And then here's the actual card. First, like, that's a thick card, right? It's not some flimsy little thing. And there's the message inside, right? So we send these to all of our new members, of course. And, you know, I love that kind of a personal touch where it really feels authentic. And yet it's automated, so it doesn't take a ton of our time. Now, I'm going to share my screen one more time because there's something that's also super cool that you need to know about. This is a digital business card, and every single person needs to get their digital business card set up. So this is what mine looks like. It comes inside your account, and the way it works is like this. So Felix, let's imagine we just met like at a real estate event or in line at Starbucks, wherever it might be, we're connecting. I'm just going to go to my phone. I'm going to click on the app. It's going to pull that up here. And so like I would click that icon. Anybody who wants to right now, just point your camera at that and it will take you to my page so you can see how easy it is. And Jacqueline, I see your question. The 50% off price, it's the discount from 47. So it's just $23.50 per month. Okay. So did you grab that? I'll hold it a little closer to the camera there. Let you guys get that. Okay. So when you do that, it's going to take you here to this page. And, you know, let's imagine we're face to face. Oh, thank you, Felix. I would say, well, just click here for me. And then you can save all of my contact information right to your phone, right? Drops that contact record right onto your phone. You just either click create new contact at the bottom and then done and done at the top, right? So now all of your information is dropped onto the phone of the person you met. You still want to get their information. So you just click the plus sign and you pop in their first, last, email, and phone. And now that person is automatically added to your LCA Nurture account. So they're going to get the next messages that are scheduled to go out. So it's a super easy way to build your database. And, you know, there are lots of companies that charge about $15 a month just for that. With us, we include it because we want you to be able to easily grow your database. So one last thing I'll show you here is that I've got my social media links. I also have my calendar. So if you want to book a call with me directly, you just go there and you click meet with Dan, you can do that. It's easy to do that. I see somebody just booked an appointment with me now. That's awesome. So your digital business card is waiting for you. You can choose your background image, choose the text that's up there, and then choose all of those links that show up inside your account. So let's see here. Sonia, it's going to depend what type of message, or excuse me, what type of HG account you already have. If you have a Chirp account, yes, you can migrate right to an LCA Nurture account. And Stacy, absolutely, it can be used for teams. We have a lot of team clients who actually roll this out. Depending on the size of your team, we can do the same thing we did for LabCoats. Like we can take our branding off and put your team branding on. So all sorts of ways we can leverage that for you. And Stacy, not for nothing, it'd be great to just reconnect with you. So I'm going to drop my calendar link here in the chat. And of course, anybody who wants to is welcome to schedule with me, but especially you, Stacy. So there we go. There's my link. And Denise, this is a recorded session. LabCoats will be pushing it out to the whole community here. So you will be able to jump back in there and watch whenever you choose. All right, so we have covered a lot. Few things that no one has asked that you should. When a contact is loaded in our system, like let's imagine I'm in Felix's database and I'm in Stacy's database, right? Both of you are happy Grasshopper clients. Both of you have my information. So our system will never deliver the same message twice to a single recipient. Okay. So when Stacy chooses a message, that message wouldn't be available for Felix. When Felix chooses a message, that one wouldn't be available for Stacy. So you don't have to mess with that. We handle all of that for you. Question coming in from Stacy. So how does it work with my CRM? Well, which CRM are you using, first of all? And second of all, it almost doesn't matter because we integrate with hundreds of them. So we have a direct API integration with Follow Up Boss and Wise Agent. Pretty much no matter what you're using, we already connect to it. And you have LionDesk. We have an API integration with LionDesk. So that's easy too. I will put my screen share back on here so I can show you guys just how easy that is. So here I am inside my LCA account. I'm just going to come to settings. And then I would click on integrations. And you see we've got Follow Up Boss here, Revaluate, PySync, LionDesk. And of course, we connect to hundreds and hundreds of applications through Zapier and PyDesk and other third-party APIs. So depending how you're using those other services would impact what we do with an integration. In many cases, we're just going to pull out past clients in Sphere and then send the messaging from our system. If you have the integration, we can push reporting data back up into your regular CRM. So let's see here. Brett asks, what about bad emails and phone numbers? Well, so there's like a really geeky way to answer that question. And since I'm really geeky, that's what I'm going to do. We'll start with email. So bad emails. There's really two kinds. There's a hard bounce, which means that email address no longer exists. A lot of times a hard bounce email address is associated with spammers. So we attempt to deliver once. If we get a hard bounce, we never deliver to that message again. The second type of bad email is a soft bounce. And that means either their inbox is full, which in 2022, that rarely happens, or more likely the domain they're at still exists. They're just no longer there. So, think about like whichever real estate firms you've been involved with over the course of your career. If somebody tried to email you at an old address, they might still have the domain, but they don't have that inbox. So they're accepting it, but they're not really delivering it. Right. So those are two types of bad emails. Bad phone numbers. I talked about database nurturing. Like if you're doing it right, it's easy and awesome and makes you money. And if you're doing it wrong, it makes you tired. This is the flossing part. Like this is the part that makes you tired. We actually use our system to help you complete your database and make sure things are accurate. So when you're uploading contacts, for example, you might have some that you have phone numbers for that you don't have email addresses for. Well, we send them a text and say, hey, just realized I don't have a good email address for you. And boom, they reply with their email address, right? There's lots of ways to gather up that information. Rob Novak, can teams use this via a shared CRM account? We use Follow Up Boss. The answer is yes, absolutely. In fact, I was just with Dan Corkle in Las Vegas last week at the YLOPO Summit, and he invited me to speak at FubCon coming up. So hopefully I'll get to see you there. And Jacqueline is asking, so we have to enter the contacts into your system, or does it connect to my CRM? Well, the answer is it depends on which CRM you're using, of course. But typically, it's really easy to pull them in. All of your contacts are in the same places, by the way. They're in your phone, your email, whatever CRM you currently have. they're in your transaction management system, and they're in your MLS. So every single one of you that starts with Happy Grasshopper, you're going to get invited to book an appointment. Get this right link here. It's happygrasshopper.com/white glove. We have a bunch of these every single day. And that's where a staff member of mine will spend time with you one-on-one to help you get your contacts out of whatever system and load it into our system. So there we go. Let's see more questions. Kelly, I see you're saying the link isn't working at the 50% off. Okay, now you're saying the link does work, but the save 50% discount doesn't apply to the discount. Okay, that's unusual. I don't know if that's happening just for you or if other people are having that same issue, but okay, Jacqueline's saying that's correct. Okay, well, that's easy enough for us to fix then. If you want this, just say, I want this in the chat, and we will reach out to you to make sure that we get the link applied correctly. Thank you for doing that, Kelly. I'll reach out. Stacy, thank you for doing that. I have all of your registrants information, and I can make it easy to do this. We can have people on my staff reach out to apply those discounts. So I think what I'll do, just so this can be easy, is I'll make sure that my staff fixes the link, and then we'll let you know that it's fixed so you can get that 50% discount. And then we'll invite you to just go ahead and sign that up. So I'll send that to everyone, letting them know that the links are now corrected. No problem, Jacqueline. Happy to help. Happy to help. In fact, let me send a Slack to my team now, and we'll get that link fixed. It may be done in just a moment here. Easy enough. So while I'm doing that, please keep any questions you have coming in. I'll make sure to get them answered for you.
Yeah, this seems like a great system, Dan.
Thanks, Felix.
Definitely helps to keep people on track, and they don't have to think about it. Everything is done for them. They just have to log in and do what's next for the month or for the quarter. I love it.
Well, there's so many challenges in real estate. You guys have to know how to solve everything from a house not appraising, right, to the water heater dying a day before it closed. Like, there's so many problems you're experts at solving that would be a total mystery to a non-real estate professional. And, for over 20 years of my life, I've been totally focused on helping people start conversations via content. And, I love to share what I know. I love to help people get the results that they're looking for. And, today's Happy Grasshopper is really the best expression of that we've been able to create. And as good as it is, I promise you it's going to get better. Like, we're always looking for ways to leverage that data to really make a difference for people. So my team has replied. They are fixing that link now. We will get that sent out ASAP. So, thanks for everybody for your time, your attendance, your questions. And I will look forward to connecting with y'all soon.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for the great information, and please take advantage of this great offer. I think I'm going to be contacting Dan also.
All right. Thanks, Felix.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.